very first episode of Canadian Profits TV. My name is David Dubeau, and I'm the publisher of Canadian Profits, Canadian Real Estate Profits, and Canadian Business Profits. Well, I want to welcome you to this very first episode. So you'll notice that things have changed around a little bit. If you've watched my weekly video updates before, this is a new and improved version of it, and we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. You can see we've got this lovely background here. I've got bright lights shining in my face all over the place. And we're going to cover several different segments in each episode. So we'll be talking about a business segment, business breakthroughs, a mindset minute, and real estate tips as well. On different videos, we'll have little fun tidbits as well, and we'll be keeping you up to date with what's going on with Canadian Profits and the Canadian Profits membership program. So welcome. All right, so on this section of the business breakthroughs, I want to talk about my rules of getting involved with a new business venture. So I don't know about you, but I've been an entrepreneur since I was about 23 years old. I've done a lot of different businesses. A lot haven't worked. A few have worked very, very well, which have made up for the ones that didn't work. So I've come up with a few rules for how I do business, or how I get involved with a new business venture. And that is, I look at what I consider to be like a realistic or a very good case scenario for the business, how it would function. So I take that, what would be like this good case scenario, and then what I do is I look at the worst case scenario. So I say, what if it takes twice as long to get started? What if it costs twice as much to get it up and running? And what if it's half as profitable as I originally anticipated? So I look at those numbers. If the business still looks like it would be good in spite of all those setbacks, then I give it some serious consideration. So again, costs twice as much, takes twice as long, and it's half as profitable. If it still makes sense, then go for it. That's what I did about a year ago when I was starting up BC Rent to Buy, my new real estate investing venture. I looked at it that way, still made sense, and we went ahead. And guess what? That's about how it's turning out as well. That just seems to be the way things work out. So if it still makes sense, go for it. Another important thing is understanding how long things take. So Darren Weeks, one of his mentors, was a gentleman named Bo Peabody, became one of the .com almost billionaires. I think he was worth $800 million, so pretty close. And that was his rule of thumb, was any new business venture that's getting going is going to take at least 18 to 20 months to see if it's really got feet or not. So when you're getting something new started, if it's not up and running in the first 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, if it looks like promising, give it a few more months. It's going to take at least a year and a half to really see if it makes sense or not. So that's your business breakthrough for right now. All right, welcome to this week's real estate tip. And today what I want to talk about is a subject to clause. Now, what is a subject to clause? When you're making an offer on a property, you're going to write up a contract of purchase and sale with the seller. Okay, when you're doing that, there's a space in there for subjects. So obviously most real estate transactions are subject to financing, an inspection of the property, that sort of thing. The subject that I would like you to include as well as that is subject to buyer's lawyer's approval. Subject to buyer's lawyer's approval. Why do you want that subject in there? Because that's the ultimate escape clause for you. So let's say you get excited about a property, you want to put an offer in right away, maybe it's a hot market. You put your offer in there, but you put that subject in there, and that way, if for any reason you can't close right up until you're taking off all your subjects, you've still got an escape clause there. Because you can always say, sorry, my lawyer does not approve this transaction, and you can get out of the deal. So it's a way of covering your assets. That's right, covering your assets. So that's the subject to clause, subject to lawyer's approval. Take that one and use it. All right, welcome to our Mindset Minute segment. And this week, what I want to talk about is criticism, or more importantly, immunity to criticism. So if you're getting involved in your own business, if you're an entrepreneur, self-employed person, business owner, real estate investor, professional real estate investor, whatever you're doing that's out of the norm, you're going to get criticized for. So you're going to have to get accustomed to that, get your mind wrapped around it. it's just the way it goes. It's like the old saying that if you get a bucket full of crabs and one crab's trying to crawl his way out, as soon as you just get to the top and get one claw over, the other crabs will grab him and drag him back down again. Well, that's what our fellow friends and family members and associates tend to do with us when we're trying to break out of the norm and do something different. So when you're starting to get into business for yourself, you're starting to invest in real estate for yourself, be prepared to get criticized. And when you get criticized, embrace it, because then you know you're doing something right. So you have to develop a bit of a thick skin, switch your mind about it, and don't worry about it so much, because really, at the end of the day, none of it really matters. The only thing that matters is that you're moving towards your goals and you're doing what you want to do. Well, okay, I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Canadian Profits TV. I know it's been kind of fun doing it, that's for sure. And this episode has been brought to you by the webinar that I just did this week with our good friend Dan the Man Locke. So you can watch a replay of that webinar at the link to the right. To that right. Go ahead and click on that and you can watch a live replay of the webinar. It'll only be up for a very limited time, so make sure you take a look at that right away. Tune in next week for our next episode of Canadian Profits TV, where we'll be talking about negative motivators, one of the 7 profit centers of real estate investing, as well as my golden rule marketing technique, which is what I used with Darren Weeks and what has helped him grow the Fast Track group of companies so well, so big, and so fast.